dark of us, even to Jesus and Mother Teresa. Our world is in a dark mood also. We see the pictures from Ukraine. We hear the crying in the faces of those who are displaced. And we call out, why? Why, Lord, is there such evil in our world? There is no answer for this. But it is also true that when any saint, any believer, even the newest and the weakest, stands in the strength of Christ, puts on the whole armor of God and prays, the devil is always defeated. There is a very strong and powerful relationship between putting on the armor of God and prayer. These two steps belong together. It is not enough to put on the armor of God. You must also pray. It is not a case of either or. Paul writes, "And prayer in the Spirit on all occasions, with all kinds of prayers and requests. Be alert and always keep on praying for all the saints. Pray also for me, that whenever I open my mouth, words may be given me, so that I will fearlessly make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains. Pray that I may declare it fearlessly as I should." That comes from Ephesians 6:18 through 20. What we need, my friends, is some crazy Christians. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They are not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing that you cannot do is ignore them, because they change things. They invent, they imagine, they heal, they explore, they create, they inspire. They push the human race forward. Maybe they have to be crazy. How else can you stare at an empty canvas and seek a work of art? Or sit in silence and hear a song that has never been written? Or gaze at a red planet and see a laboratory on wheels? Well, some see them as crazy. We see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that are going to do it. Jesus was a crazy one. He calls us to follow him into the midst of the raging sea, to help bring God's plan and purpose for the world. Martin Luther told a story of coming home after a rally. His wife and baby and daughter were asleep. He went to bed too, but the telephone awakened him a few hours later. When he answered it, a voice on the other end threatened to kill him and his family. Then the caller hung up. King said that by the time he was hung up, he was wide awake. He went downstairs and he made a cup of coffee. At the kitchen table, he put his head down. He put his hands in his face. He thought, I am here taking a stand for what I believe is right, but now I am afraid. The people are looking to me for leadership, and if I stand with them without strength and courage, they will falter too. I am at the end of my powers. I have nothing left. I have to come to the point where I cannot face it alone. But then something happened. In the midst of the storm that raged around him, King said he stared to experience the presence of God as he had never felt it before. He started to hear another voice far more clearly and powerfully than the voice he had heard on the phone, or the voice he was hearing in his thoughts. King heard a strong, confident inner voice urging him, stand up for righteousness, stand up for truth. God will be at your side forever. King did not give up. He answered that call. We all have been given a call. Sometimes we might even have several calls. Now, I know that some of you are scared to stand. Standing up for God can be painful. And maybe it's your family disowning you because they think you must have joined a cult because you believe in this religious stuff. Or maybe people on your team blast you because they view you as intolerant, because you are trying to follow the Word as opposed to the world. Maybe it's a pain inside that comes from recognizing how long we have been sitting down and doing nothing. When God has wanted to use us to work in someone else's life. But you know, the cool thing about pain is that it usually goes away. I have had a lot of calls in my life. From the call to marry, the call to have children, the call to go into chaplaincy and ministry, and then even a scarier job in disaster relief. To go way, way out of my comfort zone all the time. No, not me, God. We all can relate, I am sure. The whole way, I was saying, no, no, no. But you know what? God has our back. We need to remember that. As people of faith, we need to remember this. God sends us, but He knows what we can do, even if we don't. We may see the images of the horror of the people in Ukraine are suffering. And we think there is nothing we can do, but that's not so. We can do something right here, right now, that is so powerful. We can say a prayer. It doesn't need to be full of flowery language or lawn. A prayer could just be, help me, God. And so as Oscar Wilde once put it, everything is going to be fine in the end. If it is not fine, it is not the end. I would like to end this sermon today with a prayer. I find God in the unexpected place where I least expect to find the presence of a living God. It is in these unlikely places that the undeniable sense of holy overwhelm arrests my attention. I find God in the unexpected times when I often would rather wallow around in the middle of my mind and rehash old, unresolved issues. God pierces through the wall of my wail and shines glory on my being so I can see a new path, a new direction, a new purpose. I find God in the unexpected, in people whose lives seem so fractured, yet they, like shards of a mirror, reflect the image of God so clearly and profoundly that God becomes flesh again. I find God in the unexpected, those situations that serendipity turns spiritual in unguarded moments, because God chooses to speak to me through the unexpected. I find God in the unexpected, and slowly I'm beginning to learn to expect God in the unexpected. Slava Ukraine.
We're so thankful for Reverend Ann delivering that message today. This is a time where we go into communion, and we are now opening it to all people. We were before just using the little cups, and if you still feel more comfortable using the little cups that were at the front, if you don't have one and you'd like one, raise your hand and usher will bring one to you. If you would like to come forward and be served communion, that is fine as well. We want you to be comfortable in either way. It's up to you. Here's the point. I want you all to know that you are welcome at this table. You don't have to be a member of our church or any other church for that matter, just that you're seeking God, seeking a relationship with God, that you come and join us today. Come together at the table. The unexpected people, the ones in the unexpected times where the crazy Christians show up, crazy enough to believe that God can make a way where there is no way in our Christians. Crazy enough to believe that this little old tiny church in Auburndale, Florida can make a difference throughout all of Polk County. Crazy enough to believe that. So join with us now. You are welcome either way. So I just want to make sure you knew that. And if you don't have a cup, or anybody that didn't have one that wanted one, you can sit at your desk. I was like a school teacher. You can sit right there in your chair and take communion by yourself if that's what you long to do. Okay, we're not online, right? We are. Okay. For those of you who are joining us online, you are welcome to join us as well. You have some crackers or juice or something with you, you can join us. On the night that Jesus was betrayed, he was with his disciples, and it was a night like I don't think anybody expected, to be honest. But Jesus knew this was his expected hour for him. As the disciples sat around the table, joining and talking and carrying on in the middle of conversation, there came a somber moment when Jesus took the bread and he raised it. He said, "One day my body will be broken for you. This is my body." And he broke the bread. He blessed it, and then he said, "Every time you come together and you eat of this bread, I want you to remember me. Remember the sacrifices that were made for each and every one of us. Remember me." If you are joining with us at your desk, you can, your chair, the desk note somewhere. And then he raised the cup. "This is my blood, which will be spilled out for you." Every time you drink, you come together, you drink, remember me. Remember me. He blessed it, and they partook together. Well, the servers, we have servers, right? Come forward. The ushers will usher you up here in the appropriate time, and they will lead you into communion.
join us now by standing and we'll sing the Lord's Prayer together.
Please remain standing for our closing number, and there will be continuation of our celebration of Pastor Mel's third anniversary with us. We are having cake and some other refreshments, I believe, after the service, so please stay and enjoy that. And faith, hope, and charity will see us through.
Today in the house of God. We are so thankful for each and every one of you coming today. I pray that as you go out today, God will bless you coming in and going out. Everywhere you go, you'll be blessed, and God will you'll be a blessing to others, because that's what He's commanded us to do. And don't forget, God loves you, and you love other people because God loves you first. And we'll see you next Sunday right here for more morning.
Mother's Day.
For Mother's Day.
All right.
And morning worship. Okay, thanks a lot. You that got us online, we are so sorry we had some computer issues. Hope to have that fixed by next week. Thank you for kind of jumping in at the last minute. Sorry about that. We'll see you next Sunday. Have a wonderful week. Goodbye, everyone.
Don't worry about tomorrow.